Hey guys, in this video I'm covering Asperger's symptoms and why they actually happen. All that plus more is coming up. Hey guys, welcome back to the AspieWorld. My name is Dan. I have Asperger's syndrome, ADHD, OCD and dyslexia. So if you're new around here and you'd like to learn more about this type of content, remember to hit that subscribe button by clicking on the notification bell. And if you're watching over on Facebook, be sure to give this page a like and a follow to see more videos just like this one. Guys, what is going on? Welcome back to the AspieWorld, where we think differently daily. What's up, different thinkers? Hit that like button if you are feeling pumped to get this video going, and I'll explain what this video is about right now. Oh, before we go any further, if you haven't already, please check me out on Twitter and Instagram. I love to communicate and reach out to you guys on there. So if you want to send me a DM, it's the best place to do it, on Instagram and Twitter, so go do that now. So, I have spoken a lot about Asperger's symptoms and traits on this channel, and I'm going to do a bunch more videos on that, but something I never really covered is why those traits actually appear in somebody on the autism spectrum. Now, this is a very interesting subject, because we all know, like, you could list off a bunch of different kind of characteristics and traits of somebody on the autism spectrum, which is great, but understanding why those happen could actually help you identify it quicker, more efficient, and just give you a general kind of empathy to the person in general that you're talking about, and maybe this will help. So I thought it would be a good idea to do a video on that. I have listed out 5 of the most interesting, actually, and more common Asperger's symptoms or traits or characteristics, whatever you want to call it. And I've given an explanation of why this actually happens. So I've got my list here on my snazzy iPad Pro, which I absolutely adore, and I don't think I'd go anywhere without my iPad Pro anymore. It's kind of like attached to me. You know how it goes. Let me know in the comment section down below if you guys get attached to items and you know, objects and stuff like that. So let's get into this video. Actually, I need a drink of water first. Oh man. Whew. It's like 1,000 degrees outside and it's 8 o'clock at night. So let's get on with the traits. Okay, so the first one is talking fast. Now, you guys may have noticed that people on the autism spectrum talk really fast. Actually, in actual fact, because I'm on the autism spectrum and I have ADHD, I get a lot of comments from people saying, hey bro, why don't you talk slower? Stop talking fast. You talk too fast. I can't understand a word you're saying. I'm sorry about that, but it's just who I am. And a friend of mine, who also is an autistic female called Chloe, she runs Princess Aspian, another autism YouTube channel. So Princess Aspian, I think the channel's name is. Chloe's really cool. We're going to do a video together soon. But she talks just as fast as me, and it's kind of refreshing because I feel like I'm not alone. But that trait, why does it happen? It's kind of like because the autistic person's brain is going 1,000 miles an hour. There's data, there's ideas, there's creativity, there's everything going on. And we're trying to keep up with this fast-paced brain movement, and you're trying to get everything out all at once. It's really difficult, and most of the time I'm only getting out maybe like 1/8 of what I actually want to say, and so I stumble across myself, and then I don't talk properly, and then I mumble and I stutter, and all this stuff happens, and people just comment on it saying, dude, you talk too fast. Now it's funny because it's trying to keep up, your mouth is trying to keep up with your brain, and it's never going to happen. You know, it's something that is very apparent, and it just sucks. It sucks that people kind of, you know, want to comment on it, and it sucks that I talk too fast. But hey, it is who I am. You should always love yourself, and it's just what happens. Okay guys, so number 2 is socializing issues. Now look, everybody knows that people on the autism spectrum have issues with socializing, okay? So socializing is very difficult for people on the autism spectrum, and this is because the part of the brain that is responsible for socializing and communication part of the brain is impacted by the neurological differences in the autism brain. Now, we know that autism is a neurological developmental condition that can gradually become worse the older you get, typically. I did a video all about how that, you know, the age of autism kind of impacts you, and I will leave a link for that in the end slate and the card above here and down below, so you can check that video out after you've watched this one. But in terms of why socializing is a big issue, it's because the brain is trying to, it's kind of misfiring in the area. It's kind of like, you know, the socializing wires are wired up to a different part of the brain, so the brain is kind of like cross-wired, and the neurological paths are a little bit different there, and that difference is awesome. It gives people the ability to do other things. Okay, they may not be good at socializing, but they can do other things, like being really good at music, or talk really fast, or like, you know, just do something completely different. Like, look, if you're watching this right now and you know somebody on the autism spectrum and they're like kick butt at like playing Pokemon or Minecraft or whatever, and they're really good at something, but they're like terrible at socializing, hit that thumbs up button. You know exactly what I'm saying. So that's why, it's how the neurological path kind of developed in the brain when the person was being conceived, basically. Okay, so this is number 3, which is eye contact. Now, people on the autism spectrum have difficulty with eye contact. It's no kind of biggie. It's a no-brainer. It's something that we all know about. Eye contact is difficult for people on the autism spectrum. But what you didn't know is, why does this trait occur? Well, eye contact is associated with socializing. When you meet somebody, the official typical greeting is to look someone in the eye, shake their hand, start talking, and you make eye contact and connection when you talk to somebody. Now, this is classed as a typical average social communication tool, but eye contact for people on the autism spectrum is not like that. It becomes more of an intense feeling, because again, you're thinking about what I said in the last one, where the brain works slightly differently because it's wired a little differently, so that looking someone in the eye is more intense for someone on the autism spectrum, and it does not come naturally. It's not something that they are programmed like everybody else who's neurotypical to do, just by naturally occurrence, like, oh, look in their eyes and shake that. It's something that has to be either taught, developed, learned, understood, and so eye contact just becomes something that isn't a natural gift that somebody just picks up who's on the autism spectrum. It's actually something that you have to kind of go out your way to really understand, learn, and maybe you'll never do that. I mean, I'm like 34 years old and I still have issues looking people in the eye, unless it's like my partner. I even have issues looking my parents in the eye. It's so difficult. So it's because of the communication part of the brain, the communication part that impacts how a person socializes and communicates. And obviously, looking someone in the eye is communication through social interaction. Okay, so number 4 is obsessive interest. Right, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Anybody who knows someone who's autistic is obsessed with something, right? The autistic person will be obsessed with something. I'm obsessed with Fight Club. I don't know if you've ever noticed, but Fight Club is one of my obsessions. I absolutely love it. I watch the film. I used to watch a film every single day, actually, and I have it on in the background, and I don't have a TV in here that'll do it, so I might actually rig one up on this wall so I can actually watch Fight Club all day. But in terms of that, the brain is highly engaged with the finer details, the really small details of things. And so someone on the autism spectrum will come across something that is the most mundane thing that you can think of, like, it could be postage stamps, it could be certain coins, it could be a certain type of book, it could be a certain celebrity, it could be absolutely anything. It could even be brushes and types of bristles, and they'll see the finer beauty in the fine details that is within that, the minute details that is within that thing, and they can get totally involved with it. And that is why an obsession happens. It's because they're seeing the detail in those unusual things, because there's a deeper level of sight with someone on the autism spectrum for things that have detail to be given. And I think that's an amazing thing. It's a beautiful thing, and it should be celebrated and congratulated, because without it, I don't think we'd have electricity the way we currently receive it, and I don't think we'd have any of the sciences and the modern kind of like innovations that we have today, because I think that a lot of the people who are doing these things in the past have been on the autism spectrum. That is dope. Okay, so number 5 is routine. Now, people on the autism spectrum love routines. They love doing the same thing over and over and over again. We love it, I love it, it's great. And the reason being is because the people on the autism spectrum don't like having unpredicted events, because unpredicted events are outside of their control, and outside of their control means that it's going to be a surprise, basically. So people on the autism spectrum like to control their own environment, space, and rituals, or whatever you want to call them, those routines, because there's going to be no unpredictability in it. It's kind of like why you always eat chicken nuggets from the same store or the same make, or you eat frozen pizzas, because frozen pizzas have no ambiguity. Processed foods are kind of like rampant within the autism community, because processed foods, yes, they're highly processed and they're bad for you, but there is very little surprises. You know, when you go to the store and you get like a fresh kind of like bag of like apples or grapes or potatoes or carrots, there's going to be deformities in them. There's going to be imperfections that are going to cause it's not linear in the format of what you want. There's a surprise there, and you know, maybe you could open a bag of like peppers, and one of the bell peppers is rotten on the inside. But when you buy frozen stuff, it's just perfect every single time because it has a consistency to be exactly what you want. And this is why autistic people love routine, because it's comfortable, it's relatable, and it's predictable. And that predictability is something that people on the autism spectrum thrive. If you think this video is helpful for people, please share it on Facebook and Twitter. Give this video a thumbs up, subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you next time, guys.